It was a, surreal moment. Obviously, this team won't quit. This team's got a toughness to them that I've never seen before. They won't quit. Come back from an 8-0 deficit. As disappointed as they were in the third inning, they've been working to build this thing to where a day like this would happen with this number of people here and the energy, and to get really punched in the face in the beginning of this game. I don't think I'd ever imagine another team being able to rebound from that, the disappointment of what probably our guys were feeling at that time, and yet they did. And so number one, the toughness of this team, how excited I am and my staff is to be able to coach these guys is amazing. Just a bunch of neat people. And the second part of it is our fans wouldn't let us lose. And our fans were amazing. I don't think PK Park's ever been that electric, and I think it can even get better. But they would not let us lose. And with the great individual performances of Bennett, 2 home runs and 4 home runs overall, and the game-winning hit with Drew Cowley, and really the stellar pitching that showed up with Ian Umlant, Logan Mercado, passing the ball to Matt Dallas, Josh Malaris at the end. Just, obviously excited, grounded in the moment, and we understand that, there's still one win. We're still one win away, so it's not like anything's been accomplished other than the fact that it was a fantastic environment, a great game, and just want to thank so many of those fans that showed up, and hopefully we can even get some more tomorrow and build some more portable seats or something like that to get more people in the stands.
Questions for student athletes? Well, Drew, when they bring that closer in, his numbers speak for themselves. Speak kind of your mentality in that situation and what you're looking to do.
Not trying to do too much. Be in control of myself is what, we talk about as hitters or pitching, and just slowing the game down, looking for something up and putting a good swing on it, and was able to get a slider and put a good swing on it.
And then just the emotions that come through for your team and that, what was it like to process all that?
It's just awesome. Just a great feeling, a team effort today. Just a lot of fun. And yeah, like Waz said, the crowd, it's awesome. Just a lot of fun playing at PK.
Question for student athletes?
Or even going back a couple innings earlier, what are you seeing there in the 7th? And then I understand the play where Tanner gets held up there, but to go for it, and even when tying it, that can be a bit deflating when we're going to go ahead and doesn't score. What is the feeling like after that at bat and going into the dugout at that point in the tie game?
Just get back on defense, get back in, minimize, and just move on to the next play.
Bennett, kind of conventional wisdom when you're getting older, you can't get all back in one swing. You had a couple of big swings that helped your team a lot. What was your mentality in those bats?
Yeah, like you said, in the situation you're down chasing 7 runs, you can't hit a 7-run home run. I've never seen it. So I was just trying to put a good swing on the ball. The guy had been throwing a lot of strikes, and so was just able to get a fastball in the zone and not trying to do too much, which ultimately the ball left the yard, but I wasn't trying to do that, and just ended up happening. So that was awesome to get the momentum back on our side there.
I guess for Bennett and Drew, Juan was talking about the feeling of probably disappointment after that third inning. Just how did you guys come together and rebound, and come back and start chipping away at the lead and eventually go on to take it?
I think we talk about playing each inning at a time and then not playing the score, and just get the team together in the dugout and just say that exactly. We're playing each inning. We're not playing the score. We're playing for momentum, and just keep pushing, keep chipping away. And it speaks a lot about our group. We're a super resilient group, and we just never give up no matter what.
Questions over here to the left.
Bennett and Drew, can you guys speak on the crowd really stayed with you guys even with that third inning when it was tough? That crowd stayed loud for you guys, just kept you guys going. Does that kind of keep you guys in the mental space to be able to keep battling and battle all the way back there?
Yeah, that was huge for us. Having the PK, the rowdy PK out there, when you have all that positive energy backing you no matter what, it's hard to get down when you're down 8-0 when you got 5,000 people cheering for you. So like Drew said, we just knew our job was to chip away. And the more momentum we got, they got us even more just by staying with it and being electric with their energy. So all the credits to them for just getting it done. And that last inning, Waz told us to take a deep breath, relax, and let the crowd provide the energy. We don't have to do any of that. They're going to do it for us. So they definitely did that, and it definitely helped us out.
The student athlete question. Tyson, here on the right.
Bennett, talking about that energy, how does the postseason energy and just the crowd, how is that different than like a typical, not midweek game, but just like maybe like a March game? Like how do you kind of train yourself to play in this energy where it's so different than maybe than what it is earlier in the season?
You just have to remind yourself that ultimately it's the same game. You got a pitcher throwing a ball and someone's trying to hit it. And something that our team's been talking about is whenever you feel like there might be pressure on yourself, whether that's from the fans or whatever, just flipping that pressure onto the pitcher or onto the opposing hitter and realize that that can just free you up to just go play the game we've all been playing since we were 5 years old. So I think that if you can use that energy for positive instead of thinking that it's pressure, there's a lot worse things than playing a baseball game in front of 5,000 people. You know, we have it pretty lucky as student athletes here. So I think if you have that perspective, then you can just go out there and have fun and feed off that energy versus let it crumble you. So.
Brennan.
For both the student athletes, coming into tonight, teams that trailed by 8 runs in an NCAA Super Regional were 0 from 96. What does it say about this team that you guys were able to make this region?
Like I said earlier, we're just resilient. We don't play the score, we play each inning, and that's what you saw tonight. And that's, I mean, really all I can say is doesn't matter what the score is, we're always in the game.
Here to the right.
That as a guy behind the plate, what you see from Ian, Logan, all the bullpen, Polaris and Dallas, what you see from those guys?
Those guys just did a great job of attacking the zone. At that point in the game, you know, it's critical for the pitchers to come in and limit the free 90s and to just, at that point, they just got to keep them there, you know, and let the offense try and get something going. And they did that. Every guy that came in just pounded the zone, and they were competitive with all their stuff. And it's a lot of fun to work for guys that are doing that. It makes my job a lot easier. And when the pitcher gets fired up after a big inning, that just leads into the bottom half. Our hitters love it. It's so much fun playing behind those guys when they have that energy. So it was really cool to have them step up big.
Back left.
Either of the players can answer this. When you say you don't play the score, can you tell us a little bit more about what that means? I mean, does it just means that you're putting it behind you, you're trying to forget about it? I mean, is it just something mentally you do to try to, just because obviously 8 runs is a pretty big hill to surmount when you surmount it.
Yeah, so we do this thing throughout the fall. We call it the skins games in our scrimmages where the goal isn't to win the overall game, it's to win every inning. And you saw after that 3rd inning, we were able to win something like 5 of the 6 innings because it's hard to have an 8-run inning. You don't want to get it all. You can't get it all back at once, but if you can keep chipping away at a pitching staff, keeping the pressure on them, you know, that's all you can do in that situation. And so it doesn't matter if it's 8-0, we're losing, or if we're up by 15, our goal is to win the inning. And today we were able to do that because of our pitching and because of our lineup.
One more for student athletes, front left, James.
Bennett, 2 bladed bats. I wanted to ask you about when Dallas is behind Cox 3-0 to come all the way back and get him swinging strike 3. And then Malaris there with 1 out in the 9th, 2-0 to a call strike 3. What is it like managing those at-bats and getting them back, particularly the 8th there against Cox?
That's just demoralizing for an opposing team, I think. You've got Dallas and Malaris, who are 2 veteran guys. They know what they're doing. They don't care if it's 3-0 or 0-0 or 0-2. They know they just got to execute that pitch and then move on and win the next pitch. And so those were huge momentum shifters into our favor. And credit to those guys. They know their stuff's good, and they know that when they execute, they're going to have good results. And so, you know, I just sit back there and give them a target, and if they can execute a pitch, then, you know, props to them.
You might do a little more.
No, it's all there. It's all there.
You might do a little
It's
bit
all
more.
done.
Bennett and Drew, you are free to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Nice job, dude.
Question for Coach Wasikowski, Rob. Buzz, Ryan and Shane, a couple of guys have been struggling to find the zone, and Shane comes in, stabilizes it, and then kind of passes the baton, as they say. Tonight, ironically, kind of he was struggling, but then Ian comes in and just kind of stabilized things. How would you describe the way that a guy can come in and just kind of reverse momentum for the staff like that, and then suddenly just pass the baton and guys are getting out?
They're tough. You know, they're tough. I don't think that, you know, we've come back from deficits before. You know, we were at Washington State early in the year on a Sunday, and I think we were losing by 8 or 9 runs in the second inning or first inning, and we came back and won that game. Came back and won several times. These guys don't have any quit in them, and they know, just like Bennett just described, with, you know, we believe in a process here, and the process is a togetherness concept. It's more of a chemistry concept, and we just know that there's going to be times where somebody might not have it. And so, for example, Dylan tonight, he didn't have it, but last week at Vanderbilt, he did have it. And had we not experienced what we experienced with a really crazy environment last week, we might not have been able to control ourselves this week. So, you know, and that's what you saw in Ian, and that's what you saw in Mercado and Dallas, and those guys to be able to come back in counts and do the things that they did. I think that was just because they've now been in big environments, they've faced great players, and they have the confidence and the belief that, you know, that they're able to have success. And sometimes, you know, like Dylan, he knows tomorrow's going to be his day. And so today wasn't, but tomorrow will be. And so don't lose confidence. It's just one opportunity that we get to see tomorrow instead of dwelling on the night. You know, Drew Cowley, quite candidly, I think he would probably tell you he stunk in his first 3 at-bats, and yet he wins the game. And so, you know, it's not about one play or one pitch. It's about trying to win every pitch. And the process of winning every single pitch in a baseball game is our goal. It's hard to do, and this group is the closest I've ever been around to being able to accomplish that.
Middle right here.
Bennett mentioned those skins games that you guys worked on with ball. How satisfying is it to have the whole team take that to heart and have it come through in such a big game?
Well, it's awfully nice because, I mean, even like in the 7th inning, you know, thank God there's replay, and we got the benefit of the catcher's interference. But then Bryce Betcher putting down a really good push bunt against a filthy left-hander. That guy's really good. And be able to have an inning get created with more or less nothing, and then get a couple of just not real hard hit balls, but just enough kind of contact plays to where, you know, we were able to get a couple of hits there and get the 2 in the 7th. I thought that was huge, and those things are all incorporated in the skins game. Nobody in the dugout ever quit believing, and the funnest thing for us was nobody in the stands quit believing. Those people were awesome. They rallied behind us the whole time. Even when we're out there standing in the field in the top of the 3rd, stinking it up and putting an 8 on the scoreboard, they didn't go fair weather. The Oregon fans don't do it. When I'm in Autzen Stadium, that's not a part of these people. This community wants greatness, and that's what we're striving to do, and they appreciate greatness. So, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun coaching a bunch of guys that look like every single day they want to give people that show up with their hard-earned money at this field to give them the best thing that they possibly can for their hard-earned money when they're paying their way in.
Tyson right here on the right.
When you first joined this staff in 2012, like this environment kind of seemed like it might be an every year type of thing, like super regionals, big crowds at PK Park, and frankly, it's been a bit since the night like this has happened. What's it mean to you to kind of be able to put this thing together and to have a regional atmosphere, a super regional atmosphere like this, where the crowd played such a role for you guys when that hasn't been the tradition for a while?
You create your own traditions, and you create your traditions with hard work. You create your traditions with belief, and you create your traditions with young people that love each other, and there's relationships that are built that are not built on sand. And this group is a blessing. And the stuff that you referred to in terms of creating an environment, I remember when Vanderbilt was the worst team in the SEC, and going to Vanderbilt and even losing one game at Vanderbilt would have been deemed a failure out of a 2 out of 3 series, and yet Tim Corbin established that program to what he did. Skip Burtman at LSU won 5 national championships in the 90s, and at one point LSU was the worst field and facility in the Southeastern Conference. We've got a ways to go before we can match any of that kind of stuff. Tonight was a nice night, but the environment here at Oregon can be as loud and as energetic as any in the country, evident by what we see in all the other sports and how awesome these fans are. And so when I was here in 2012, and getting a chance to be able to come back here, and thank goodness Mr. Mullins and Mr. Rodell and Pat Kilkenny and the others signed off on me coming and getting a chance to do this. I believe in this community, and I think my players do too. I think they showed that tonight.
James from left.
Wes, can you take us from your perspective, the chess match there on the bottom of the ninth? Like, their side will talk about whether or not they should have brought their closer in earlier, but I'm talking about after the 2 blocks. The bunt by Betcher, do you think those, theoretically, according to plan, get second and third, they're walking through, Sabine's coming up 0-4, but the winning runs at third. Because it unfurls the way it does, Riku's at second, it looks like he may have helped Drew a little bit, and Drew's allowed to swing as opposed to getting an intentional pass. Just how you are going about the strategy and the thought process in those 2 passes.
If they execute an out on the bunt, and credit to them, they could have thrown the ball down the line and we would have won on that play. If they execute the out on the bunt, then they got to get a great hitter in Drew Cowley out. If they execute the bunt, and if we execute the bunt and they get just an out at first base, they walk Drew Cowley, and I got Ceballos at the plate with the bases loaded. I like my odds either way.
Zach Lyon.
Obviously, after the game, walk off, coming back from that big lead, you're at a pretty high energy level right now. Like, how do you like just kind of calm your team down and kind of get back to that calendar mindset knowing you have one more win to get?
Well, I want them to enjoy it. I want them to enjoy the fact that PK Park was probably as loud as it's ever been in the history of this facility. And so I want them to enjoy what they did because that's special. I want them to enjoy the locker room. How do we bring them back down? I don't think that's going to be very hard because a lot of people might have written this group off when they were struggling, and we were going through a lot of adversity with injuries. And the fun part is the community didn't quit on us. Look at these people. They're going nuts. And, to sell out this entire super regional in less than 1 hour and have our athletic director and everybody, their right-hand people building facilities to house more people out there, this place can go nuts. And so how do we settle them down? We'll settle them down. We'll get them calmed back down. These guys are hungry. They want to do something that hasn't been done since 1954. We've got a man named Dwayne Reeves who literally donates $6 a baseball, or $6 a home run, who played on the 1954 team. And so he sends checks every other week or every third week, and sometimes they're all in multiples of 6. That's how special it is when a guy like Dwayne Reeves is sending us checks for the number of home runs that we hit times 6 about every second or third week. That 54 team and the members of that team, they want us to get back to Omaha. These guys are grounded. They want us to get back to Omaha, and it all, it's been a lot of fun. I don't think these guys are, their bellies are full or anything like that. They're ready to get tomorrow done and win one more game here and move on and play better baseball down the road.
Podium back right.
Well, as you keep talking about how this team is such awesome, what is it exactly about this team that makes them so special, that makes you believe in them, makes them believe in you? What makes you guys as a group, as a team, believe that you guys can get back to the College World Series and compete at a high level and potentially get to that spot of potential all this season?
They don't miss class. They have one of the highest GPAs we've ever had here. They're respectful to people. We get an unbelievable amount of people that just talk with whoever in our program about how classy they are and how respectful that they are, and they truly just appreciate each other. We've got selfless players like Gavin Grant and Tyler Gannis that are just, this program's nothing without Tyler Gannis, and yet he didn't get an at-bat tonight, and yet he might have been the biggest reason why we won today. And Gavin Grant, ditto. And there's just so many of those kind of stories with this group, and Riku gets a lot of credit because of his energy and what's so fun about watching him play, and Sabine and Drew, but it's not just those guys. It's so many others. And so why do I say I'm blessed? Because I am. And so are we as a program right now and as a community. These fans get a chance to see this team play. No, we're not perfect. No, we didn't show up tonight and say, hey, let's get down by 8 and see how this is going to work out. No, wasn't part of the gig, but yet the people didn't quit on us and our team didn't either. And we just want the chance to be able to show up again tomorrow and see if we can pull this off.
Just take two more. Front left, right here.
I was looking at, we lost the jump a little bit, but Jacob Wolf is somewhere that third. How important was that for a little bit of Alex left to give you guys a shot in the arm after that?
Great. First pitch after the 8, yeah, big deal. The last thing that they want is for us to come out there and the first pitch of the 8th inning, boom, we're here. And that's kind of what Jacob said is, no, we're not going away. And so I thought that was a really big deal, yeah.
Take one more. Back left.
Bottom of the 7th, you guys were down by 2. You guys tied the game in that inning, but the last at bat of that inning was Tanner Smith. He's the team captain. He's been here the longest. And, when he came up to bat, the crowd could sort of sense that was, that could have been a moment that tied the game, and he came through and did it. What is a guy like Tanner Smith, who's been here the longest, been given so much to the program, that kind of moment where he ties the game, what does that mean to the program and to you?
Well, I don't know about what it means to the program. I think it was his 300 hit. He's got a bunch of records, and he's awesome. What it meant was I think he tied the game. That's about what it meant. The rest of it, I don't know. He wants more than just a hit. He wants more than just to tie the game or whatever it was. He wants to get to Omaha, and so do all these guys. And so we're going to try like crazy. Like I told Pat Kilkenny when they hired me, we're going to get this thing to Omaha or I'm going to die trying. And the team feels the same way. These guys are in. They're locked in. They want this thing bad. And maybe the hardest job we're going to have is backing them off maybe just a click to where they can execute and do the things that they need to be able to win one more game to get us to the Midwest.
Thanks, Coach.